Whenever you're spending your hard-earned cash on an e-bike, you want to make sure you're getting the most bang for your buck. Here at Electric Bike Report, our team has tested literally hundreds of e-bikes and put tens of thousands of miles in the saddle across our series of standardized performance tests, and that doesn't even include our rides outside of the office.
That's right. We've taken all that data and experience and used it to narrow down our list of hundreds of bikes to the ones that stood out the most. Join us today as we highlight the best electric bikes of 2025.
Welcome in and thanks for joining us today. I'm John.
And I'm Griffin.
And we've put together a list of 28 of the best e-bikes to go through. Now, that might seem like a lot, but don't worry, we're gonna break things down in a way that's digestible. These e-bikes represent 13 different categories and give you a great variety of options to choose from.
Once we get into our list, we'll walk you through a few highlights about each bike that stood out during our testing, and then go over some specs and performance data before wrapping things up with recommendations for who each bike is best for. Just know that all the bikes on our list are ones that we'd recommend to our friends or family members based on our first-hand experience. Stick around to watch our whole video. We have something new we are doing this year, and you won't want to miss the end.
Speaking of experience, we've included only bikes that we've tested and have first-hand experience with. Brands have zero say in being included, and we weren't paid to put any of these bikes on this list. Also, we limited the cost of every bike to $3,000. There may technically be a couple of exceptions, but we'll mention those as we go. FYI, we plan to put out a separate best video focused on e-bikes that cost more than $3,000 later this year, so make sure you're subscribed and watch out for that.
We'll also be talking about a lot of data from our range, brake, and hill tests, so if you're interested in learning more about our process, you can check out the link up there for an explanation on our website. To give you a barometer on our test results for each bike we'll cover today, the averages across the several hundred of e-bikes that we have tested so far are range test results of 29.9 miles using the highest level of pedal assist and 56.6 miles using the lowest level of pedal assist. A brake test stopping distance of 21 feet and 10 inches, and a climbing time of 1 minute and 28 seconds in our hill test.
Lastly, we really appreciate your trust in our team, and we can only keep making high quality content like this with your support. So we ask that if we helped you decide on what bike is best for you, that you use our referral links from this video or our individual reviews when making a purchase. Also, be sure you're subscribed so you don't miss anything in the future, but with all that out of the way, let's talk about some bikes.
Starting things off is the Event and Adventure Point 2, which is one of 4 fat tire e-bikes on our list. There are 3 reasons why we chose to highlight this bike for the 3rd year in a row. First, this bike has loads of power in 2 different ways. It can ride fast and conquer steep hills without breaking a sweat, all thanks to its extremely capable 750 watt motor. Second, it feels great to ride and offers precise control. The bike's torque sensor allows the motor to change its power output to match your pedaling, so you can enjoy more mellow rides if you want to access more power when you push a little harder. Third, the Adventure is well equipped to handle most any environment. It has features like integrated lights, turn signals, and a cargo rack that make it great for commutes during the week, but it also has the big knobby tires and suspension for going on off-road adventures. Ultimately, this bike just doesn't have many low points in addition to its awesome results in our real-world testing. It's got good looks, great handling, and tons of versatility.
Here's a quick run through of the Adventure's features and test results. It ships as a Class 2 e-bike, but it can be adjusted to Class 3 speeds through the Event and app. It has a 750 watt hub motor with a torque sensor. The bike traveled 31 and 59 miles in our range test with its 720 watt hour battery. Its results in our hill test was an impressive 1 minute and 13 seconds. The brakes did a great job with an average stopping distance of 18 feet and 11 inches in our brake test. The Adventure fits riders from 4'11" up to 6'4", and it has a total payload capacity of 400 pounds. Finally, it has a list price of $19.99.
We think the Adventure is going to be a great bike for just about anyone because of its comfort and versatility. If you want to ride both on and off-road, or even if you don't know what you want to do with your bike, this one can easily do a bit of everything. Of course, as a fat tire e-bike, it's also an excellent choice for anyone looking for a very stable ride. The 4-inch tires provide great traction and a really wide platform for riding, so it always feels extremely stuck to the ground. Our next model is a folding e-bike from Lectric. This is the ever popular XP 3.0.
There's a lot that stood out with the XP, but let me give you our top 3 highlights. Number 1 is simply its affordability. This bike is $1,000. We saw a lot of e-bike prices go up last year, but electric hasn't changed the price in the XP, so it's technically an even better deal than it was in 2024. Point 2, it's loaded with great features that are pretty tough to find for this price. Most $1,000 bikes have to make cuts somewhere, but the XP3 has a suspension fork for comfort, a super capable motor, and even hydraulic disc brakes, so there really aren't any sacrifices. Third, there's just so much you can do with this bike. All the performance tests prove how capable it is in general, but its 3-inch tires allow for some light off-roading, and it has a high-capacity cargo rack that can carry up to 150 pounds, so it can even carry a passenger.
So let's run through the XP3's features and its results from our testing. It ships as a Class 2 bike, but can go to Class 3 speeds. It has a 500-watt hub motor with a cadence sensor. We got 29 and 44 miles from the 499 watt-hour battery in our range tests. The XP3 climbed our hill test in 1 minute and 21 seconds. Its brake test result was 21 feet and 11 inches. The bike fits riders ranging from 4'11" up to 6'4", and it has a total payload of 330 pounds. Lastly, to reiterate what John said, this bike sells for an extremely affordable $999.
We think the XP3 is a great pick if you're buying your first e-bike and you don't want to drop a huge chunk of change. We find that XP owners often get pretty attached though, and we've seen some riders with even 10 or 20,000 miles under their belt, so don't be surprised if you don't feel the need to upgrade down the road. This bike is also great for explorers and adventurers. You can easily keep it in the RV or the back of a truck for when you find yourself off the beaten path. As a folding bike, it's also great for people who are tight on space, so you can store it in a closet or transport it in the trunk of your car. And of course, its price makes it a great choice if you're buying multiple e-bikes. If you, your spouse, and your kids are all looking at getting bikes, you won't have to spend an arm and a leg.
Next, let's talk about a terrific city bike with the Ride One Up Roadster V3. This bike just does so much well. The first thing that stands out is how well the bike handles. The bike melds together a lightweight and rigid frame that feels stiff and responsive, while the handlebars allow for quick and precise maneuvers. The motor provides a hyper-natural ride experience. Yes, we all want e-bikes to help us go farther or go faster, but many current analog cyclists don't want the motor doing all the work. Not the case here. It provides a healthy dose of power in a near seamless way with your pedaling. And finally, this is a rare DTC bike that combines affordability with customization. It's available in 3 frame sizes with a choice between a 9-speed chain drive or a single-speed belt drive, and comes in black or mint color options. All of that with spending less than most similar comps.
Going through these specs and test results, the Roadster V3 is both a Class 2 and 3 e-bike that throttles up to 20 miles per hour and pedals up to 28. It has a tiny but powerful 500-watt rear hub motor paired with a torque sensor. Ride One Up equipped the bike with a 360 watt-hour battery that delivered 17 and 49 miles in our range tests. It completed our hill test in 1 minute and 32 seconds. It averaged 23 feet and 9 inches in our brake test. There are 3 frame sizes that can accommodate riders from 5'1" up to 6'3", and each has a weight capacity of 300 pounds, and the Roadster V3 has a price tag of $1295.
We like the Roadster V3 for riders that need a lightweight ride. It weighs 44 pounds with the battery or 37 pounds with it removed. If you need to take your bike up some steps or need something that easily reaches the hook on your garage wall, this is a good choice. We also think it's great for those who like a more active experience. This is a bike that'll allow you to get your heart rate up a little bit, but it won't leave you drenched in sweat either. It's also great for those who enjoy just taking corners at fast speeds. And finally, it's not a gravel bike, but it's not a gravel bike. If you're fine with a flat bar or want to swap it out for a drop bar, this bike rides well on gravel thanks to the Schwalbe G1 RS gravel tires.
Moving on, let's talk about the Radster Trail from Rad Power Bikes, which is part of our SUV category for this year. A few big things stood out about this bike as reasons why it should be included here. So first, we really like the Radster's 750 watt motor, which has some big upgrades from Rad's previous motors. It tops out at 100 newton meters of torque to make climbing hills super easy, and it also has a very responsive torque sensor to make the ride feel natural and engaging. Second, we really like the bike's 3-inch mid-fat tires. Compared with full-size 4-inch tires, they still offer great stability, but they make the handling a lot quicker, so this bike feels pretty nimble. Finally, the Radster uses Rad's Safe Shield technology in the battery pack, which surrounds the individual battery cells with a heat-absorbing resin to make them fire-resistant.
So running through the bike specs and test results. The Radster Trail ships as a Class 2 e-bike, but it has Class 1 and then both limited and full Class 3 modes it can switch between. It comes with a 750 watt rear hub motor with a torque sensor. We are able to get 34 and 76 miles in our range test with the bike's 720 watt-hour battery. The Radster completed our hill test in 1 minute and 16 seconds. It had an average stopping distance of 21 feet 8 inches in our brake test, and the bike fits riders from 4'11" up to 6'4" between 2 frame sizes and has a total payload capacity of 370 pounds. And lastly, its list price is $21.99 at the time of filming.
Versatility is really the name of the game here, so we think the Radster Trail is a great option for anyone looking for a lot of flexibility in where they can ride. This bike would make a great daily ride to the office, or just as great for weekend adventuring. We also think it's a good choice if you put a big focus on safety. All Rad bikes stick to a very manageable level of power, so they feel really approachable and controlled, but Rad really kicked things up on this bike with turn signals, the potted battery, and the ability to quickly and easily switch between a variety of speed limits.
Electric Expedition 2.0 is an outstanding cargo bike and might just be one of the best values in the entire e-bike world. Let me explain why. First off, it's just really capable. This bike has an unusually high weight capacity, up to 300 pounds on just the rear rack, and it has independently tested safety certifications to back it. And yes, it's of course compatible with all the accessories cargo bike riders ask for carrying kids, groceries, gear, or some combination of all three. Second, the performance of Lectric's refined M24 motor is a real highlight. It's powerful, quiet, and works nicely to meet the demands of a cargo bike. What's especially unique here is Lectric's custom PWR Plus programming, which blends the benefits of both cadence and torque sensors. Start pedaling and the motor kicks in with a good boost of power to get you going, push harder, and it rewards your effort with even more power, perfect for hauling heavy loads or climbing hills. And finally, in typical Lectric fashion, it's got features galore but doesn't cost very much. You're getting lights, turn signals, fenders, wheel guards, a color display, quick adjust stem, 8-speed gearing, and a suspension fork. All this plus a sturdy frame and that smooth motor makes it an exceptional value.
We tested the Expedition 2.0 for 2 days at Lectric's announcement event, but we haven't yet gotten it in for our full testing and review process, so I'll run you through the basics here. The Expedition ships as a Class 2 e-bike, but it can be switched to a Class 3 through the display menu. It's equipped with a 750 watt motor with 85 newton meters of torque that peaks at 1,310 watts, and it has a torque sensor. There are 3 battery options for the bike. The base model has a single 624 watt-hour battery and an estimated range of 60 miles, but there's also a dual battery option with 1,248 watt-hours of capacity and an estimated range of 120 miles. And if you really want to maximize your range, the top tier model has dual batteries with a total of 1,680 watt-hours for up to 170 miles of range. Good gravy. The Expedition 2.0 has a recommended height range of 4'11" up to 6'5". It has a max payload rating of 450 pounds. Lectric has the single battery base model priced at $13.99. The mid-level dual battery option goes for $16.99, and then the top tier long range dual battery bike is listed at $19.99.
The Expedition 2.0 is a great option for those with higher weight cargo carrying needs. The bike's motor and programming make it more powerful than your typical mid-drive, but more controlled than your average hub motor and cadence sensor. It's largely giving you the best of all the worlds. We also love it for people who need to go long distances. It's perfect for food couriers, delivery riders, or anyone ready to ditch the car and go all in on 2 wheels. It's a great option for couples with kids who just want one bike. The small tire size, easy standover height, and quick adjust stem make it easy for couples of different sizes to share and take turns riding with the kiddos. No tools needed, it adapts in a flash.
Our next pick is the Machwheel Basalt ST 2.0 from the fat tire category of bikes. The first reason we added the Basalt to this year's list was that it comes with a really powerful 750 watt motor. It's fast, it has a lot of torque for climbing hills, and it's also responsive thanks to its torque sensor. Basically, it checks all the boxes we'd expect for a bike of this style, and it does those things very well. Next, you get more battery capacity than most fat bikes and also more range. The Basalt's range test results were some of the best we've seen from a fat tire e-bike period, and Griffin will walk you through those details in just a minute. Finally, it's got very cool features. It has turn signals and a detachable display that'll lock your bike when you remove it. Also, you can charge this battery with solar panels and use it to power other devices when connected to an optional power inverter. You'll have to pick up those optional accessories in order to do that, but once you do, there's literally no limit in where you can take this bike or how far you can go.
So let's run through the Basalt's main specs and performance results. It's an unclassified e-bike with a throttle and pedal assisted speeds exceeding 28 miles per hour. It has a 750 watt rear hub motor with a torque sensor. Its results in our range test were 36 and 63 miles from its 941 watt-hour battery. In our hill climb test, it pedaled up Hellhole Trail in 1 minute and 13 seconds. Its brake test average was 21 feet and 10 inches, and the bike fits riders from 5'2" to 6'4" with a total payload capacity of 350 pounds on the ST or 400 on the high step. And its list price is currently $16.99.
The ability to recharge this bike when you're out exploring is seriously cool, and that's really the biggest factor that separates it from most similar models. So we think the Basalt might be best for those into hunting, fishing, and of course camping. As a fat tire bike, it's also really flexible by its nature though, so if you want the freedom to do just about anything with a really stable ride, the Basalt has you covered.
Next up is the electric bike company Model S from the cruiser category. There are lots of reasons why this bike stood out to us, but customization is really the biggest highlight here. You can personalize nearly every aspect of this bike. Now, starting off with color, Electric Bike Company offers over 40 color options that you can mix and match for various components, but if that's not enough for you, you can send the company a color sample that they will match. On top of that, you can change many of the bike's components. You have 24 and 26-inch options for the wheels. You can choose between 4 handlebar styles. There's both a single and 7-speed option. There's even a technology package you can add with upgraded lights and security features. Another thing to mention is Electric Bike Company's warranty. It's one of the best in all of the biz. They warranty their frames and motors for 10 years, they cover batteries for 2 years, and they even have a 30-day warranty on the paint job. And finally, Electric Bike Company's e-bikes are extremely comfortable to ride, and that's primarily because of the brand's huge cushy custom saddle, but of course you can always add a suspension fork and a suspension seat post to make the ride even smoother.
So there's a lot that can change on this bike, but I'll give you the basics and let you know things that were on our test model. The Model S comes as a Class 2 bike, but it can be unlocked to a Class 3 through its display menu. It has a 500 watt hub motor with either a torque or a cadence sensor. The standard battery option is a 504 watt hour battery, but we got 35 and 66 miles in our range test with the upgraded 864 watt hour battery. The bike finished our hill test at Hellhole in 1 minute and 10 seconds. Its average stopping distance in our brake test was 19 feet 4 inches. It can fit riders from 5 foot all the way up to 6 foot 10, and it has a total payload capacity of up to 420 pounds. The bike's price starts at $15.99, but it can vary a lot depending on the level of customization you choose.
So we highly recommend this bike for anyone who wants a custom beach cruiser from an iconic brand. You really can deck this thing out in a million different ways to be the bike that you want. So if you're looking to show off some personality with a bike that is completely you, this is the one you go for. The Model S is also a great fit if you want to support a company that does a huge amount of work right here in the US. Electric Bike Company builds their wheels, paints their frames, and assembles each of their bikes at a factory in Costa Mesa, California. All right, let's talk about the event in Rambless. This hardtail eMTB was an all-around terrific tester and gets so much right while keeping things budget-friendly. Okay, so first up, the motor is seriously powerful. This is a custom job Aventon did in a partnership with the brand Gobow, and they supercharged this thing with 100 Newton meters of torque for terrific hill climbing power. For context, the majority of eMTB motors stick to 60 or 90 Newton meters. Second, it's got great value overall. Aventon spec'd it with all the desirable names in the componentry, giving it SRAM Eagle 12-speed gearing, SRAM 4-piston brakes, Maxxis tires, and a RockShox fork. It's really hard for eMTBs that don't spec at least one off-brand part on major components when you're shopping under $3,000. And third, it just rides incredibly well. The modern geometry gives it excellent handling, and unlike many eMTBs in this price range, it offers 4 frame sizes, which helps you find a better fit for a wider range of riders. Many competitors only offer 2 or maybe 3 sizes.
To hit all the main details on the Rambless, it's a Class 1 eMTB. It features a 250 watt mid-drive motor that peaks at 750 watts. As expected, it uses a torque sensor for responsive power delivery. During our range tests, it went a staggering 48 miles on max assist and an incredible 107 miles on minimal assist from its 706 watt-hour battery. Both results rank in our all-time top 10. On the Hellhole climb, it posted a time of just 1 minute and 16 seconds, making it the second fastest eMTB we've ever tested. It fits riders from 5'1" to 6'5" thanks to 4 available frame sizes and has a total payload capacity of 300 pounds, and the MSRP is $28.99.
Okay, if you're a fan of hardtails, you'll love the Rambless, plain and simple. Getting the geo right was crucial and they stuck the landing there. It's especially great for newer riders who might feel intimidated by steep climbs. The power takes a lot of the stress out of the equation. And where this is one of our longer range tests, we also like it for people looking to do longer cross-country rides. This will have enough in the tank to let you ride for a few hours if you stick to low and mid levels of pedal assist. There's just a lot to love about the Ride 1 Up Portola. This folding bike has spent 2 years as one of our top recommendations, and for good reason. Let me walk you through the highlights. So first, the Portola is packed with features, especially for a bike under $1,000. Here's what you're getting: a powerful motor, hydraulic brakes, a suspension fork, a welded-on rear rack with a 130-pound carrying capacity, an 8-speed drivetrain with a 290% gear range, and of course, the ability to fold it for easy storage and transport. So next point, the Portola's motor is a standout. The 750 watts of power makes it one of the faster hill climbers in our hill test, and on flat ground, it cruises effortlessly up to Class 3 speeds. We also appreciated the ability to increase the battery capacity. For a couple $100 more, you can up the battery capacity by about 29% to make longer rides possible. And finally, one small but game-changing detail: the Portola stays together when it's folded. A built-in strap keeps the bike secure while you move it around. It might seem minor, but trust us, it's a lifesaver compared to other folding bikes that don't have this feature. Fewer pinched fingers equals more smiles from us.
Let's run through the key details. The Portola ships as a Class 2 e-bike, but it can be adjusted to Class 1 or Class 3. It features a 750-watt rear hub motor with 65 Newton-meters of torque. We tested a pre-production model with a battery size that isn't offered right now, but based on our results, we'd expect a range of 16 to 35 miles with the base 499 watt-hour battery, or a range of 21 to 47 miles with the upgraded 643 watt-hour option. In our hill test, the Portola climbed Hellhole in just 1 minute and 17 seconds on max assist. Its average stopping distance was 20 feet 9 inches in our brake test. It's designed to fit riders from 4'10" to 6'4" and has a 300-pound payload capacity. And finally, the starting price is an awesome $995.
Ooh, heck yeah. We think the Portola is ideal for shorter to average sized riders. The geometry is a bit tight for taller folks, so if you're on the shorter side or if you're a longer legged rider who relies heavily on throttle use, it's a great fit. But if it fits you, based on our testing and the Portola's price, we think this is a great entry-level e-bike for just about anyone. It checks the boxes for affordability, quality, and practicality, which is a pretty uncommon mix. And as a folding bike, it's perfect for the RV crowd or anyone with limited space in their garage or apartment. If you're looking for a fun, compact ride without worrying about storage, the Portola's got you covered.
From the commuter category, our next bike is the Trike Discover 2. The biggest thing that stood out to us about this bike is its level of customization. So riders can choose between Class 2 and Class 3 modes, torque and cadence sensing modes, and 3 riding modes with low, medium, and high power ranges for the bike's 5 pedal assist settings. There's also an adjustable stem to tweak the bike's fit, and you can even change things like whether the brake light flashes or just gets brighter when you squeeze the brake levers. Second, this is a super comfortable bike with an upright riding position that doesn't put any strain on your neck, your back, or your wrists. Trike puts a big focus on comfort, and we really like this bike's squishy saddle and its ergonomic handlebars and rubber grips. And finally, the Discover 2 is packed with a lot of features you don't often find at this price point. It has Apple Find My technology for security, it has turn signals for safety, there's a cruise control function that works just like it does in a car, and there's a high-capacity MIK-compatible cargo rack that's even capable of carrying a child seat.
I'll run you through the basics real quick. The Discover 2 ships as a Class 2 e-bike, but it can be converted to either Class 1 or 3 through the display menu or the Trike app. It's spec'd with a 750-watt rear hub motor, and it has both torque and a cadence sensor that you can switch between. The bike went 41 and 86 miles in our range test with a 706 watt-hour battery. It pedaled up Hellhole Trail in 1 minute and 17 seconds in the hill test. It stopped in 21 feet and 7 inches in our brake test. And the Discover 2 fits riders between 4'11" up to 6'4" with 2 frame sizes, and it has a massive payload capacity up to 440 pounds. Trike is selling this bike for $18.99 at the time of this filming.
This is a bike that we can honestly recommend to just about anyone simply because you can pick your motor engagement mode and your power level depending on what level of control you prefer. We also recommend it to anyone looking for a super comfortable bike that's well suited to leisure rides. We think it would make a great commuter for the ride to work or school, but it's also a great option to take out for some fresh air and exercise.
Coming from the electric tricycle category, we have the electric XP Trike. Now, price is one reason why we picked this Trike, as it's currently the most affordable model that we've reviewed, but also doesn't sacrifice anything in terms of value. We were really impressed with the total package. It's got good specs, plenty of features and accessories, and overall solid performance. The second thing to note is the XP Trike's weight capacity and its ability to move a lot of weight effectively. We pushed it to the max in our hill test, and it still kept going, so we've got to give it some serious kudos. And finally, we really liked that electric mounted a hub motor beneath the rider and between the rear wheels, so it drives both rear wheels and provides excellent traction. It also feels a lot more natural than a front hub motor, but doesn't add the high cost of a mid-drive. I'm not sure if Electric invented this design, but they sure as heck made it popular.
Let's go through the XP Trike's main talking points. It can be set up as a Class 1 or 2 trike with a max speed of 14 miles per hour. It has a 500-watt hub motor with a cadence sensor. The XP Trike's range test results were 40 and 54 miles with its 692 watt-hour battery. Its max assist hill climb test took 1 minute and 40 seconds. It had an average stopping distance of 13 feet 2 inches in our brake test. The Trike fits riders from 4'10" to 6'4" and can carry up to 415 pounds, including a 330-pound rider. And even after most of the industry increased prices, Electric kept the XP Trike's cost at a very affordable $14.99.
So we recommend the XP Trike for anyone with balance issues or disabilities who might need the extra stability of a third wheel. This Trike definitely won't break the bank if you're on a budget, and its high weight capacity makes it perfect for heavier riders or anyone looking for a lot of cargo carrying capacity for running errands.
Next on our list is the Aventon Abound SR, which is from the utility category. One of the main reasons we included this bike was because of how natural and responsive it felt. Aventon used a 36-volt motor and battery, as well as a super sensitive torque sensor that responds right away to the amount of pressure you put on the pedals, so the motor kind of takes a back seat instead of overpowering the ride. Our second reason for choosing the Abound SR is all the smart technology that Aventon threw in. This bike has a 4G chip that allows you to track the bike's location and even deactivate it in the event of theft. But to prevent theft, you can lock the kickstand through the display or the Aventon app. You can set an alarm to go off if the bike is jostled or moved. And if you're a parent, you can set up geofencing boundaries that dictate where your child is allowed or not allowed to ride. Finally, you can completely customize the motor output through the Ride Tune feature in the Aventon app. You can change the strength and smoothness of each of the bike's assist settings to give you more or less power and responsiveness depending on what you prefer.
Let's go through all the important numbers for this bike. The Abound SR ships as a Class 2 e-bike, but can be converted to a Class 3 through the Aventon app. It has a 750 watt rear hub motor with a torque sensor. We recorded 35 and 87 miles in our range test with the bike's 720 watt-hour battery. The Abound SR completed our hill test in 1 minute and 18 seconds. Its average in our brake test was 20 feet and 5 inches. The bike is recommended for riders from 4'11" to 6'3", and it has a payload capacity of 440 pounds. It is currently priced at $18.99.
We recommend the Abound SR for those who want to spend more time on their bike while doing a bit of everything. This bike has a really natural feel, so it would be a good option if you want to get some exercise, but it's also really well suited to commuting, picking up some groceries, or carrying a child passenger. With all the included security features, we think this bike would be a great fit if you live in an area where theft might be a concern, but also with all the tech and customization options, it's a great choice for anyone who wants a lot of control over their ride.
Next, let's talk about the Rad Power Bike's RadXpand 5 Plus, a folding e-bike that sets itself apart in some impressive ways. For example, this is arguably the best handling folding bike we've ever ridden. Unlike most folders that use a telescoping flat handlebar to maximize compactness, the RadXpand opts for a BMX-style handlebar. While it's slightly less compact when folded, it dramatically improves ride comfort and control. The back sweep adds to the comfort, and the handlebar feels solid with none of the front to back play common in some folders with taller stems. We also like that it's a bit more rugged than most folders too. It features a front suspension fork and 20 by 4-inch knobby tires, making it more capable of light off-road exploration. This is also a feature-rich ride. This bike comes with Rad's latest tech, including its strong motor performance, efficient and safe potted battery, and UL certifications for added safety and reliability.
Here's all the data for the Radixband 5 Plus. It's a Class 2 e-bike with throttle and pedal assist to 20 miles per hour. It has a 750 watt rear hub motor with 64 newton meters of torque and a torque sensor. It's spec'd with a 720 watt hour battery that gave us results of 39 and 83 miles in our range tests. The Radixband completed our hill test in 1 minute and 23 seconds. Its average result in our brake test was 19 feet 6 inches. The bike fits riders from 4'10" to 5'10" with a payload capacity of 315 pounds, and it sells for $18.99.
If you want a folding e-bike that doesn't feel like a folding e-bike, this is the pick for you. The frame latch is stout and minimizes flex, and that handlebar is something we wish we saw on more folders. Folding e-bikes are always a hit with the RV crowd, but the fat, knobby tires of this one give it one of the better off-roading experiences out there. The sizing is on the small side, so shorter riders will definitely appreciate how easy it is to mount and ride. And if you are a budget-conscious shopper and you like the look of the Radixband 5 Plus and don't mind dropping the suspension fork and swapping the torque sensor for a cadence sensor, you can also look into the regular Radixband 5, which will save you a few $100s.
From the cruiser category, we have the U-Free City Robin X Plus. Comfort was an obvious standout on this bike, so with its upright riding position, its plush saddle, and its curved handlebars, it's designed to be easy on the rider without sacrificing good handling. The adjustable stem lets you customize your fit, and to top it off, the suspension seat post comes standard, which is pretty rare and a very welcome inclusion. Second, we really appreciate the customizable ride feel. The City Robin X Plus is one of the few bikes that lets you choose between a torque sensor and a cadence sensor. Neither option's objectively better, but having the ability to switch between them is very unique. Finally, this bike balances high-quality features and value. It comes loaded with thoughtful extras like a standard cafe lock, passcode security, an auto-assist motor, and a rack with a 100-pound carrying capacity, which is double what you'll find on most cargo racks.
All right, let's go through the City Robin's test data and specs. This is a Class 2 and 3 e-bike with throttle up to 20 and pedal assist up to 28 miles per hour. It's driven by a 500-watt rear hub motor with a torque or cadence sensor. We got 29 and 68 miles from the 672 watt-hour battery in our range test. We had a pedal time of 1 minute and 29 seconds on the hill test, and the bike averaged 22 feet and 2 inches in the brake test. The City Robin is made for riders between 5 feet tall and 6'1". It has a total payload capacity of 275 pounds. And finally, U-Free's list price is $2,099.
This is a great choice for fans of the cruiser ethos. It's laid back, it's comfortable, and it's super fun to ride. But let's double down on the comfort point. If you want a bike that's easy on the rider, that will take the sting out of imperfections in the road, this is definitely a bike worth looking into. It's also a well-stocked commuter, so all you need is there, including good lighting, fenders, and the welded-on rear rack that can haul whatever you need to work and back. Finally, this is a good option for fans of nicer things. It's not a premium tier ride, but it's a class above the average, so it's like a Lexus or Infiniti car in that regard. The Blix Soul X falls into the cruiser category, but it definitely breaks a lot of the common cruiser trends that we typically see. One thing we loved was the futuristic tech. It includes electronic shifting, an auto-assist motor feature, which is essentially cruise control for your bike, and then high and low beam headlights, turn signals, and lots more. While most cruisers lean into a classic vibe, the Soul X takes quite a different approach. The bike's powerful motor was a major highlight. It is a nice analog-like ride thanks to the torque sensor, but it can also turn speedy and powerful in a hurry when you pedal harder thanks to its torque sensor. We also really liked how the ride handles. It's uncommonly nimble, but we attribute that to its weight distribution, mid-sized tires, and its light and minimalistic frame.
To go through the bike's details, the Soul X is a Class 2 e-bike when it arrives, but it can be set to Class 3 through the Blix Connect app. It has a 750 watt hub motor with a torque sensor. It's powered by a 614 watt hour battery that gave us 38 and 86 miles in our range tests. It went up hellhole in 1 minute and 19 seconds in the hill test. It stopped in 21 feet and 11 inches on the brake test. And riders from 5'1" to 6'2" can enjoy the Soul X, and the bike can carry up to 400 pounds with up to 318 pounds for the rider. And it is currently priced at $18.99.
If you like classic looks but modern features, we think you'll like this bike. Think of it like a classic car outfitted with a modern engine. It's both timeless and tech-savvy. It's great for shorter or older riders as well, so the 17-inch standover height is one of the lowest on this list, so it's easy to mount, and the wide sweep of the handlebars brings them comfortably within reach. It'll be nice for tech enthusiasts on a budget, so if you're into cool tech but don't want to pay exorbitant prices, this is a bike with uncommon features at a relatively affordable price. The next e-bike on our list is the Ride One Up Rev 1 from the Moto or Moped style category. There are 3 versions of this bike with different specs and price points, and we think they all deserve a spot, so we decided to lump them all together. The first main highlight of this bike is its speed and power, and that applies to all 3 models. In the bike's off-road mode, we hit speeds around 35 miles per hour, but even when limited to 20 miles per hour, the full suspension model was one of the best hill climbers we've tested, period. Second, comfort is kind of hit or miss on this style of bike, but the Rev 1 nailed it. If you don't mind the higher prices, we definitely recommend the full suspension or dirt models for the most comfortable ride. Finally, we love that Ride One Up released 3 different trim packages. You might get the hardtail model if you're on a budget. The full suspension model is a full-on electric vehicle with great road tires and turn signals if you're commuting, and the dirt version is meant for exactly what it says, tearing it up off-road.
We'll go through the specs and performance results of the dirt version here since we tested that model the most recently. It's technically an unclassified e-bike due to its motor output, but it ships with a 20 mile per hour speed limit that can be changed to either 28 miles per hour on pedal assist or an unlimited off-road mode through the settings menu. It has a 1000 watt rear hub motor with a cadence sensor. It traveled 28 miles on just throttle power in our range test with its single 1040 watt hour battery, but you can also equip the bike with dual batteries. The Rev 1 throttled up Hellhole Trail in 1 minute and 13 seconds. Its brake test average was 23 feet even, and the bike fits riders between 5'2" and 6'4", depending on the trim package, and can hold up to 400 pounds. And finally, the hardtail version goes for $17.95, the full sus model goes for $22.95, and the dirt version here tops out at $24.95.
This is definitely a bike for adrenaline junkies and thrill seekers, but it's not all fun and games. The Rev 1 would also be great for commuting to work or running errands, as you can attach a cargo cage or a cargo rack to carry a load of groceries, or you can throw on an extra battery if you have a super long commute. Finally, this might be a great option if you just want to get out and ride free without pedaling. This is the electric one, and it's our next bike from the commuter category. This bike really shook up the industry, and there are a few big reasons it made our list. First is the pinion gearbox. This bike has an internal system of gears mounted at the bottom bracket that shifts electronically, and it can even downshift automatically when you're coasting or when you come to a stop. Second is the fact that it's super low maintenance. This bike can ride for over 6,000 miles before the gearbox needs any maintenance, and it has a Gates carbon belt which lasts at least twice as long as a chain, plus it's also super clean and quiet. Finally, this bike has a super fast and powerful motor. You can pop a wheelie on this if you try. It's got that kind of punch, and the bike's cadence sensor uses 96 magnets instead of the usual 12, so it can deliver power right away without a delay.
I'll take you through the one's details. The bike ships as a Class 2, but can be adjusted to Class 3 through the display. It has a super peppy 750 watt rear hub motor with a cadence sensor. We went 32 and 53 miles in our range test with the bike's 672 watt hour battery. It climbed Hellhole in our hill test in 1 minute and 23 seconds. The one's average stopping distance in our brake test was just 17 feet and 9 inches, and it fits riders from 5'2" up to 6'4" and has a total payload capacity of 330 pounds. It is priced at $2,199.
This is a reliable bike that's incredibly easy to use, and it's made to handle the daily commute to work or school, so we highly recommend it for those looking to ditch their car at least some of the time. It might not fold in half like the XP3 we talked about earlier, but it does have a collapsible stem and a quick release through axle on the front wheel, so the one might still be a good option if you're looking for something more portable than a full-size commuter. This bike is a whole lot of fun though, so we think it would be a great fit even if you're just looking for something speedy to take out on leisure rides. Our next bike is the Aventon Solterra 2.5, which is one of 3 models in the city and urban category. The biggest reason we recommend the Solterra is its natural and responsive feel. We really like Aventon's torque sensor, and we think it's a great pairing with a city bike that encourages active pedaling. Second is overall comfort. This bike's geometry puts its rider at a more upright position than many other city bikes, and that makes it easy to stay on this bike for long rides without feeling strain in your back or your wrists. Finally, this bike has really great handling and acceleration. It weighs about 45 pounds, and its street tires have super low rolling resistance, so it feels nice and agile, and it picks up in speed very quickly.
At the time of filming, we're still in the middle of our testing and review process for the Solterra 2.5, but I'll give you the details that we have so far. It's a Class 2 e-bike with a 350-watt rear hub motor and a torque sensor. Aventon advertises a range of up to 46 miles with the bike's 345.6 watt-hour battery. It finished the pedal portion of our hill test in 1 minute and 56 seconds. Its average stopping distance in our brake test was 22 feet 4 inches, and the Solterra fits riders between 5'1" and 6'2" with a weight capacity of 300 pounds, and it has a list price of $11.99.
We think the Solterra 2.5 is a great option for anyone looking for a nimble city bike that doesn't have an aggressive riding position, so if comfort is essential to you, this one will definitely check that box. Its weight also makes it a solid choice if you want a bike that's easy to load onto a bike rack, and this is also a very good option for anyone who enjoys the active experience of riding a non-electric bike, but wants or needs something that's a little easier to pedal.
The Mach-Wheel Obsidian is a great fat tire that has several things going for it that make it unique from other bikes on this list. For one, it's got tons of power off its 1,000-watt motor. This is one of those bikes that's got some seriously fun off-road potential and will have you flying around exploring, making it perfect for off-road adventures. It effortlessly handles steep climbs and uneven terrain, giving you the freedom to explore deserts, backwoods, or whatever wild landscapes you call home. It is also off-grid capable. This bike is compatible with Mach-Wheel's inverter and solar panel accessories, allowing you to charge your devices using the bike's battery while you explore, and then let the solar panel recharge the bike's battery to get back to riding adventures. The full suspension setup makes this a really comfy ride. The fork provides 130 mil of travel, while the 50 mil rear shock smooths out rough country roads, making for a much more enjoyable ride. And finally, as a quick side note, we love the step-through frame option a lot too. It's one of the sturdiest that we've tested. Despite our initial concerns about a full suspension fat tire bike feeling loose or flexy, the Obsidian surprised us with its solid and responsive ride.
Running through the Obsidian specs and test data, it's an unclassified e-bike with speeds up to 28 miles per hour. As Griffin mentioned, it has a 1,000-watt rear hub motor with a torque sensor that peaks at 1,500 watts. It got 37 and 59 miles in our range tests with its 941 watt-hour battery. The Obsidian finished our hill test in 1 minute and 2 seconds. Its average stopping distance was 24 feet 10 in our brake test. The bike has a single frame size with a recommended height range of 5'6" to 6'8" and a payload capacity of 350 pounds for the step-through frame and 400 pounds for the high-step model. And Mach-Wheel sells both models of the Obsidian for $21.99.
This bike is best for nature explorers. It shines when you're off the beaten path, making it an excellent choice for those who love tearing through unpaved trails and wide open spaces. So naturally, that'll include a lot of outdoors people like hunters, fishermen, campers, and overlanders. It's also great for those who want a full suspension bike without breaking the bank. Full suspension on a fat tire e-bike is rare, especially at this price. The Obsidian is a major value win. Another great fat bike option is the new X-Peak 2.0 from Lectric. There's so much to like about this bike, so let's start with its value. For a price that beats most comparable bikes, you're getting standout features like a high-capacity battery, an 8-speed drivetrain, hydraulic brakes, an RST Renegade suspension fork that gives this bike serious bang for your buck appeal. And Lectric's unique PWR Plus programming handles really well on this bike. This bike has more power at a slight turn of the cranks than typically found on torque sensors, making things feel easy and thrilling, but when the path gets steep or you need a little bit more muscle when off-roading, pressing harder delivers smooth, extra power right when you need it. And durability is another standout component. The X-Peak 2.0 is the only fat tire e-bike under $2,000 that we know of that has achieved an eMTB level of durability with its ISO 4210-10 certification. It's been rigorously tested so you can confidently take it off paved paths and into the dirt. It's rugged and ready for adventure.
Griffin got to spend quite a bit of time on the X-Peak 2.0 at Lectric's announcement event, and it was a clear upgrade over the original model, but we're currently waiting on our test bike to put it through our standardized testing. Let's run through the 2.0 specs though. The X-Peak is a Class 2 e-bike, but it switches to Class 3 through the display menu. It's equipped with Lectric's custom 750-watt motor that has 85 newton meters of torque and a peak of 1,310 watts. It also has a torque sensor. The base model has a 720 watt-hour battery and an estimated range of 60 miles, but there's also a long-range battery option available with 960 watt-hours of capacity and 80 miles of range. The bike fits riders from 5'4" to 6'5" and can carry up to 330 pounds. And finally, the standard model goes for $13.99, while the long-range version sells for $15.99.
We like the X-Peak 2.0 for fat tire enthusiasts. If you're looking for a smooth but natural ride that makes climbing, accelerating, and cruising easier while still feeling like a bike, this is just a great choice. If you want to do a little bit of everything, whether you're commuting, hitting rail trails, exploring camping or OHV areas, or just enjoying a ride to the park, the X-Peak 2.0 will handle it all. And finally, if you just appreciate good performance but don't want to pay for more than you need, this is a terrific value.
Next up from the city bike category is the Tenway's Seago 600 Pro. One of the things we loved about this bike is how naturally it rides. The motor power is noticeable, but it's subtle and it works seamlessly with your pedaling, making it feel more like a traditional bike than an e-bike. We also really like the minimalist design. With mostly integrated wiring, a discrete motor, and a lightweight frame, it's tough to tell if this is even an e-bike. At 42 pounds with the battery or 37 pounds without, it's also one of the lightest e-bikes out there. This bike also has some general aesthetic appeal. Looks are subjective, but we appreciated the integrated headlight and the blue and green paint jobs on the bikes we tested, but the black and gray versions look sharp in the images we've seen as well.
All right, so I'll take you through the specs and performance data for the single speed belt drive version of the bike. We're currently mid-testing on the 8-speed that you see behind us. So the Seago is a class 1 e-bike with pedal assist up to 20 miles per hour. It has a 350 watt hub motor with a torque sensor. We went 33 and 46 miles in our range test with the bike's 360 watt hour battery. It took 1 minute and 44 seconds to pedal up Hellhole Trail in our hill test, and we're expecting it to be slightly faster with the 8-speed here. The bike stopped in 22 feet and 11 inches in our brake test, and Tenways advertises a height range of 5'7" to over 6'5" for the bike's 3 different frame sizes, and it can carry up to 265 pounds. Both the chain and belt drive models are priced at $15.99.
This is a bike we like for e-bike skeptics. If you're a current cyclist hesitant about switching to an e-bike, this is a great choice since the motor power is subtle and supplements your pedaling rather than replacing it. If you're a fan of bespoke styling, this is also a good choice. As you can see, the Seago Pro looks clean and stylish without overdoing it. Finally, it's a nice ride for those who need to carry an e-bike around. That could be apartment dwellers, those with a lighter capacity hitch rack, or anyone who just doesn't want to risk back pain when they have to pick up their bike.
Next up, we have the Rad Power Bike's Rad Runner 2, which is one from the utility category. So first off, this is a true short tail cargo or utility bike. There's a ton of ways to accessorize it, hundreds in fact according to Rad, and the strong rear rack is great for passengers with its extra seat cushion and foot pegs, or loads of gear with pannier bags or the middle storage console. Also, this ride fits a lot of folks comfortably. It's easy for almost all heights and ages with its 16.5-inch standover height. It also has a strong motor that has smooth engagement, so each ride feels predictable and fun. And finally, it's got fun handling characteristics. Its compact size gives it playful handling along with the help of the BMX style handlebar, yet it remains stable and balanced on its 3.3-inch wide tires.
I'll take you through the runner's details. It's a class 2 e-bike. It features a 750 watt rear hub motor, which produces 64 Newton meters of torque, and it's paired with a cadence sensor. We achieved 33 and 43 miles of range from its 672 watt hour battery. It climbed up Hellhole in 1 minute and 30 seconds in our hill test. Its average braking distance was an impressive 19 feet 8 inches. It accommodates riders from 4'11" to 6'2". It supports a maximum weight of 300 pounds and it can carry up to 120 pounds on its rear rack. All of this comes at a budget-friendly price of $14.99.
This is another great bike for nearly anybody. We feel as comfortable recommending this for a teen as we do for a retiree. It's safe, fun, and effective. If you want an e-bike but you're not sure what you're going to do with it yet, this is a good one to get. It's got great base performance, but it can fill your needs as they change. It'll help carry cargo, bring a +1 along, it can serve as a trusty commuter or more. Just outfit it with the accessories you need when you need them. If you want a utility e-bike that keeps it simple, this is a great choice due to the single-speed drivetrain and mechanical disc brakes that are easy to maintain and cheap to replace. And if you do want something fancier, this is one of a series of bikes, so you can upgrade to find the bike that best addresses your wants and needs. So if you like the basic concept of the Runner 2, but you want something with like 7-speed drivetrain and other premium features, consider the Rad Runner Plus. Or if you need more advanced cargo carrying capabilities, the Rad Runner 3 Plus might be the way to go.
Next is another entry from Ride One Up, the CF Racer 1, which is in the gravel category. Value is the main reason we named the CF Racer one of the best e-bikes for the second year in a row. We've seen higher prices on similarly spec'd alloy bikes, so this one is already priced well, but you usually have to add $1,000 or more to get the benefits of carbon fiber, so you really can't beat this bike's affordability. One of the benefits of carbon fiber is weight. The CF Racer weighs 29 pounds, making it one of the lightest bikes we've tested. It's super easy to lift and transport, and its handling is truly something special. One final highlight was this bike's motor and programming. It felt very much like a non-electric bike in its lower assist settings, where the motor helped to take the edge off, but it also had some power to help out with hills in the highest assist levels.
All right, let's quickly run through the CF Racer specs and test results. This is a Class 3 e-bike with pedal assist all the way up to 28 miles per hour. It's equipped with a 250-watt rear hub motor and a cadence sensor. The bike went 15 and 48 miles in our range test with its internal 252 watt-hour battery. Its max assist time in our hill climb test was 1 minute and 48 seconds. Its average stopping distance in the brake test was 23 feet 7 inches. And the bike fits riders between 5'3" and 6'3" with 2 frame sizes and has a weight capacity of 225 pounds. And again, the list price is a mind-blowing $2,295.
The CF Racer comes in both a road and a gravel configuration, so it's suitable for a few different types of riders. The road version could make a good commuter if you prefer lightweight bikes with drop bars, and the gravel version makes a great entry point for gravel cycling or a way to get some relief on recovery days.
The Specialized Turbo Vado 3.0 is our next bike from the commuter category. Now, we actually tested the 4.0 model, which didn't make it on this list because of its price, but the 3.0 does fit within our price limit, and we don't expect too many differences in performance, except maybe in range, but we'll talk about that later. So there are a few things that stood out during our testing, with the first being the Specialized 2.0 mid-drive motor. It's powerful, it's natural, and it delivers power very precisely in response to your pedaling. So it just feels incredibly dialed in. This is a case where you might not know that you were on an e-bike if you didn't look down at the speedometer. Next, there's a ton of value in the component package. This is an area where there are some differences between the model we tested and the 3.0, but it still holds true on the more affordable model. There are just tons of high quality parts and all the accessories you'd expect on a commuter. And continuing on, we really like the Specialized app, which allows you to track ride and fitness data and tune the motor output within each of the bike's pedal assist settings. And finally, there's just something about the fit and feel of bikes from legacy brands like Specialized. Their build quality and ergonomics really come together in ways that are hard to articulate, but they're noticeable in feel. Every bike from Specialized feels really precise and solid.
I'll walk you through the specs and test data from the 4.0, but I'll point out the differences with the 3.0 model that we're recommending here. So the Turbo Vado is a Class 3 e-bike. It's equipped with a 250-watt mid-drive motor with a torque sensor. Its results from our range tests were 23 and 61 miles with a 710 watt-hour battery. The 3.0 has a smaller 530 watt-hour battery that we'd estimate would go between 17 and 45 miles based on our testing. The 4.0 pedaled up Hellhole Trail in 1 minute and 24 seconds with 70 newton meters of torque. The 3.0 has 50 newton meters, so we'd expect it to be a few seconds slower. We've changed up how we do our brake tests since we tested the 4.0, but its SRAM brakes did great. The 3.0 has Shimano brakes. The Vado fits riders from 5'1" to 6'4" and has a payload capacity of up to 300 pounds. Finally, the 3.0 is priced right at $3,000.
So we recommend the Turbo Vado for anyone looking for a reliable daily ride to work or school, but it's also a great errand runner or exercise bike. This bike also has a ton of utility thanks to a high-capacity MIK cargo rack and all the compatible accessories, so if you want a multi-purpose bike for a variety of uses, this is an excellent choice.
Our next commuter is the Elant Plus 8S from Trike. I do want to mention that we're cheating a little bit here. The 8S model we tested has a list price above $3,000, but it's on sale at the time of filming below that threshold. Just know that if its price does go up, we'd still recommend the Elant Plus 7, which has a list price below $3,000. The first highlight to mention is the Elant's Bosch CX mid-drive motor, which somehow felt really natural and also powerful at the same time. This bike felt a lot like a non-electric bike, but it handled hills really well and it accelerated quickly, so it had both a fun and active experience. Next, this bike had excellent handling that fell somewhere between what we usually expect for a commuter and a lightweight city bike. It felt nimble, but also really stable, which was another unexpected combination. Finally, this bike pairs with Bosch's Kobe.bike app, which really ties in well with the Elant's role as a commuter. You can use it to track ride and health data, you can connect it with your favorite music or audiobook apps, and you can get turn-by-turn navigation. It's a really cool platform that makes this bike feel as functional as a car.
All right, so let's run through the bike. The 8S Plus is a Class 3 e-bike with a 250 watt mid-drive with 85 Newton meters of torque and of course a torque sensor. The bike's 625 watt-hour battery gave us 30 and 75 miles in our range tests. It finished our hill test in 1 minute and 43 seconds. It averaged 21 feet and 1 inch in the brake test. The Elant Plus fits riders from 5'5" up to 6'6" and can carry up to 300 pounds. At the time of filming, it's on sale for $2,900.
If you're serious about ditching your car in favor of a bike for your commute to work or school, this is a bike we highly recommend, but it's also a great option if you want a bike with top-tier ride quality and a super precise feel. Finally, this is another great bike for those who like an active pedaling experience, even if that's for exercise and leisure instead of dedicated commuting.
The Velotric Summit One is an SUV eMTB bike that has a lot going for it. This is an uncommonly versatile ride. It isn't out of place as a commuter with some of the accessories you can add like fenders and a rack, but it's also good for some multi-use paths or exploring more open wilderness. The tires provide good grip and the suspension is budget friendly but holds up nicely for cross-country endeavors. We also like the app that lets you customize the bike a lot. You can pick either a torque or cadence sensor for motor engagement or choose one of 3 different motor profiles, all with varying levels of aggressiveness. Altogether, there's something like 30 different assist modes with 2 different ways to engage them. So you have a lot of options to make the Summit ride best for you. And finally, we liked the combination of value and performance here. It's got a great motor, makes efficient use of the battery, and it can fit a wide variety of riders.
Here's what this bike brings to the table. The Summit can switch between Class 1, 2, and 3 modes through the display or the Velotric app, although it did exceed those limits in our testing. The bike has a 750 watt hub motor with a torque and a cadence sensor you can swap between. It is a 705 watt-hour battery that gave us 36 and 73 miles in our range tests. It completed the hill test in 1 minute and 9 seconds. The Summit stopped in 23 feet and 1 inch in our brake test. It comes in 2 frame sizes that are recommended for riders from 5'1" to 6'6", and its payload capacity is 440 pounds, and the bike is currently priced at $1999.
In terms of riders we think will fit this ride best, it's going to be great for those who want to ride on various terrains on a limited budget. It's the type of thing I would have loved in my college days, so I would recommend it for students. It's also great if you want sort of a mountain bike aesthetic, but you won't be mountain biking on technical trails a ton. We see a surprising amount of people riding eMTBs just around town, and that's an overpay for paved riding. This gets you the look with a more fitting feel on the roads.
A stellar e-bike from the utility category is the Specialized Globe Haul ST. There's a ton about this bike to like, but I'll start with its testing numbers because its performance was pretty nuts. It's the best brake test result we've recorded on any e-bike. It's tied for our 2nd fastest hill test of any bike that fits the E3 class system anyway, and its range was better than average for batteries of its size. Getting that kind of performance across the board in a single bike is pretty remarkable. Second, we loved its fit and versatility. This is one of the rare cases where a one-size-fits-all frame truly lives up to its promise. Thanks to its innovative geometry, telescoping handlebars, and reinforced tubing, the Haul ST accommodates nearly 2 feet of height in different riders. Third, the handling here is exceptional. The handlebar complements the bike's active and fun personality, and the carless Whisper tires are a unique touch. They roll efficiently, but also offer excellent grip and traction, especially in the shoulders, which feels fantastic even when cornering at higher speeds. Finally, the motor experience here is really unique. Now, the motor has a bit of a learning curve, and it takes some time to understand how your cadence and effort sync with the motor, but once you do, it's a dream to ride. It's equally suited for fast speeds or smooth cruising.
All right, so here's a quick rundown on the Haul ST. It's a Class 3 e-bike with an optional throttle that can be added to make it a Class 2. It has a 700 watt hub motor with a torque sensor. We recorded 38 and 54 miles in our range test with the bike's 772 watt-hour battery. It finished our hill test in 1 minute flat. Its average in our brake test was 15 feet 9 inches. The bike fits riders between 4'5" and 6'4" with a payload capacity of 419 pounds, and it has a list price of $2,800.
This is a great option for compact utility seekers. If you need to carry gear but don't have room for a long-tail bike, the Haul ST is a perfect fit. This will also be a good jack-of-all-trades option with top-tier performance. Whether you're commuting, grocery shopping, or taking the kids along for a ride, this bike can adapt to your lifestyle. We also like it for heavier riders because of its robust payload capacity and strong motor. This is a bike with serious muscle that delivers thrilling rides to anyone who hops on.
The retrospect Beaumont Rev 2 ST is a cruiser that nails simplicity in the best possible meaning of the word. We like this bike for its classic styling. This bike embraces a timeless vintage look that's sure to bring back memories for anyone who grew up with classic cruisers. It's available in 6 different color options, which is almost unheard of at this price point. Most value-priced bikes offer limited choices, so this is a standout feature. And the bike also rides smoothly and keeps the rider comfortable. The 19-inch mid-step standover height makes it easy to hop on and off, while the swept-back handlebars and cushy saddle make for a smooth, comfortable ride. The retained top tube also adds a touch of structure, keeping the handling crisp and responsive. Finally, we appreciated that this bike kept extras a lot of other value-priced rides might omit. You get full-size tires, fenders, rack, chain guard, and lights, so it's stocked with all you need for getting out and about and keeping clean and seen in the process.
I'll give you all the important numbers for the Beaumont. It's a Class 2 e-bike with throttle and pedal assist up to 20 miles per hour. It is a 350 watt rear hub motor with a cadence sensor. The bike has a 360 watt hour battery, and it went 18 and 44 miles in a range test. It finished the pedal portion of our hill test in 1 minute and 54 seconds. It took an average of 24 feet and 3 inches to come to a stop in our brake test. The Beaumont Rev 2 fits riders from 5'0" up to 5'10" and carries a 350 pound total payload capacity, and retrospect sells the bike for $1,000.
If you want to get out and about more, this is a great bike for helping with that. The motor's hill performance isn't top tier, so it's best suited for flat environments, but if you want to swap a daily walk for a daily ride, this is a great transition at a super affordable price. If you appreciate straightforward experiences, this is a ride that's an example of simplicity done right. It's easy to hop on and off and just enjoy the ride. This is a bit of a throwback style, so it feels like a good nostalgia option for those who haven't been on a bike in a few decades. This is a fun, electrified way to get back on 2 wheels. Now that we've gone through all of the details about these 28 bikes, we would like to add something a little new this year. We have 16 awards to present, which we're calling AMPYs. We have awards for each category that we separated bikes into earlier, and a few extra awards that we think are deserving.
That's right. Just to reiterate what we said earlier, all of the bikes we talked about today are here for a reason. They really are the best. So if one doesn't win an award, but you feel like it might be a good fit for you, don't feel like you need to stick with any of those labels. In the end, the best e-bike is the one you're most happy with. But without further ado, let's find out which bikes earned an AMPY. The category of Best Fat Tire e-bike had 4 nominees: the Event and Adventure .2, the Mach Wheel Basalt, the Electric X Peak 2.0, and the Mach Wheel Obsidian. So the AMPY for the Best Fat Tire e-bike of 2025 goes to
the Adventure .2. This bike wowed us from day one and set the bar for expectations for what fun on an e-bike should be, both in the fat tire class and really for all e-bikes to some degree for that matter. There are a few big things that make a great fat tire bike, including a powerful motor and comfortable and stable ride, and the versatility to travel both on and off-road. The Adventure delivered on all 3 fronts with its 750 watt motor, its comfy riding position and contact points, and its knobby tires and suspension fork, but it also had some great extras such as a responsive torque sensor, turn signals, and a highly functional app. All of these reasons are why this is the top bike for this category for the 3rd year in a row. We have 3 good nominees for the Best Folding e-bike. Those were the Ride 1-Up Portola, the Electric XP 3.0, and the Rad Power Bike's Rad Expand 5+. The AMPY for the Best Folding e-bike of 2025 goes to
the Electric XP 3.0. This bike is value and versatility personified. Don't believe us? Just ask the rest of America, as it's the most sold e-bike in the US. It set the bar for affordable folders that deliver tons of features, including a strong motor, powerful brakes, and a comfortable suspension. So this bike is really packing in just about everything. XP owners definitely get super attached and are known for sharing all the different places they ride and ways they've customized the bike over the thousands of miles they've racked up. For the Best City category, we had 3 nominees. Those were the Aventon Solterra 2.5, the Tenways Seago 600 Pro, and the Ride 1-Up Roadster V3. All of them were great, but the AMPY for the Best City e-bike of 2025 goes to
the Ride 1-Up Roadster V3. This bike feels insanely good to ride, and the value is simply tremendous. The power is subtle but super helpful, and the bike moves with precision and feels responsive as anything we've tried on two wheels. Like I said, the value felt like it was off the charts, which is why it ultimately deserved the award. It has great specs that includes a responsive 500-watt motor with a torque sensor, hydraulic disc brakes, and options for a single-speed belt drive or a 9-speed chain drive. We were also really happy to see 3 different sizes for the great-looking frame that'll fit most people pretty well. For the best SUV e-bike, we have 2 contenders, the Rad Power Bikes Radster Trail and the Velotric Summit 1. So, the AMPY for the best SUV e-bike goes to...
the Radster Trail. I could easily see this bike being a trendsetter that will inspire other copycats. The full-size 27.5 by 3-inch tires are a slimmer take on a fat tire, but they make it feel so stable and equally fun on the road or off the beaten path. This is Rad's best motor performance to date, making it so you feel like you can explore just about anywhere with the muscle that 100 newton meters of torque provides. This bike packs in so many cool features like a key fob for security and the potted battery for safety. You'll feel like you can go anywhere, do anything, and do it all with this bike.
Let's just get straight into this one. The AMPY for the best cargo e-bike of the year goes to the Lectric Expedition 2.0.
Lectric's calling card really is value, and the value on this bike is insane. It's extremely hard to find a solid cargo bike below $1,500, but this one includes a ton of features you don't normally get at that price point, including a torque sensor and turn signals. This bike even has 2 dual battery configurations that are both priced well below what many other full-size cargo bikes on the market cost. On top of that, the Expedition has one of the highest cargo capacities we've ever seen, so it was an easy choice for this award. For the best camping category, any of the fat tire, folding, and SUV e-bikes might be good in theory, but one bike stands above the rest. So the AMPY for the best camping e-bike of 2025 goes to...
the Mach Wheel Basalt. We chose this bike primarily because of how much freedom it gives you once you add in the optional solar panels and the power inverter. As a fat tire bike with a powerful motor and off-road capability, it can ride just about anywhere. And the bike's power station functionality makes it extremely handy to have around when you're off the grid and you need to power up a laptop or recharge your phone. Most other bikes out there simply don't give you that option. The 4 cruiser-style bikes on our list were the Retrospec Beaumont Rev 2, the U-Free City Robin X+, the Electric Bike Company Model S, and the Blix Soul X. The award for the best cruiser e-bike of 2025 goes to...
the Electric Bike Company Model S. This one was really a no-brainer with Electric Bike Company's iconic nature. You can just spot one of their bikes from a mile away. The Model S is a great performing bike with standout looks, and since you can customize things like colors and components more than just about any other e-bike on the market, this really is the quintessential beach cruiser. We have 2 choices for the best hardtail electric mountain bike, the Event Rambless and the Velotric Summit 1. But we can't award it to both, so the AMPY for the best hardtail eMTB goes to...
the Event Rambless. Its power and responsiveness are simply terrific. The motor experience was exceptional. It's as powerful as it gets without feeling like overkill, and being able to dial that into how you ride in the app is a game changer. This bike moves so well on the trails and keeps a nice balance, which is hard to pull off on a full power rig. The fact that you can get a bike capable of long miles and powerful climbs at this price point is just fantastic. In the best for seniors category, really there's a lot of bikes that could have fit, but for us it came down to 2 choices, the Velotric Discover 2 and the Retrospec Beaumont Rev 2 ST. But the AMPY for the best e-bike for seniors goes to...
the Velotric Discover 2. As we mentioned earlier, this bike really is one we could recommend to anyone, but the comfortable ride and customizable feel of this bike made it a perfect choice, especially when considering its high, medium, and low power riding modes, the swappable cadence and torque sensor, and the cruise control mode that makes riding an absolute breeze. On top of that, this bike features an easy to mount step-through frame design, and it's loaded with features, so it has spectacular value. We'll cut to the chase with this one. The AMPY for the best electric trike goes to the Lectric XP Trike.
Electric really nailed it with the XP Trike. It feels like they really listened to the needs of Trike buyers. This thing feels very well balanced. We love the beginner mode it ships in to help you get your bearings, and we appreciated how Lectric's largely helped usher in the era of hub motors powering both rear wheels on the axle. It makes this Trike powerful and capable of plowing ahead up hills with no quit in its game, meaning just about anybody can ride one no matter how hilly the terrain might be in your city. We had 3 nominees in the Best Utility category: the Specialized Globe Haul ST, the Event and Abound SR, and the Rad Power Bike's Rad Runner 2. The AMPY for the Best Utility e-bike of 2025 goes to
the Event and Abound SR. This bike had a lot in common with the Globe Haul, especially in terms of its highly responsive motor, but Event really went above and beyond with this bike's high-tech security features. The alarm, the lock and kickstand, and the ejectable battery were extremely cool, and we also really liked the ability to set up boundaries for where the bike can ride. The fact that you can get this bike for under $2,000 makes it our top choice. The Best E-Bike for Women category has 3 nominees: the U-Free City Robin X Plus, the Electric Bike Company Model S, and the Blix Soul X. The AMPY Award for the Best E-Bike for Women goes to
the U-Free City Robin X Plus. We picked this bike primarily for its comfort factor, but also for its features and style. The full suspension, upright riding position, and adjustable stem all ensure a really enjoyable ride, while we also like the auto assist mode and the ability to switch between torque and cadence sensors. On top of that is a really nice paint job with 4 color options, including the Rebel Blue on our test bike that really makes it stand out from the crowd. Let's dive right in. The AMPY for the Best Moped Style e-bike of 2025 goes to the Ride One Up Rev 1 series.
Of course, this was the only Moto or Moped style e-bike on our list, but in our experience, it's just a cut above the rest. We like that Ride One Up offers 3 different models with different price points, so you can find one that works for you. We love the on-road functionality and comfort of the full suspension model. The hardtail model offers great performance at a killer price, and of course the dirt version looks extra aggressive and performs extremely well off-road. All 3 models were fast, powerful, and very easy to ride, so you really can't go wrong with either of them. The Commuter e-bike category had 4 nominees: the Electric 1, the Specialized Turbo Vado 3.0, the Velatric Discover 2, and the Trek Elant Plus 8S. This one was tough as we liked all 4 bikes a lot, but one stood out from the rest, so the AMPY for the Best Commuter e-bike of 2025 goes to
the Electric 1. We found this bike's punchy motor to be a lot of fun, and we really appreciated the crisp electronic shifting on the pinion gearbox, as well as its ability to automatically downshift for you. You usually don't get such premium features on a bike that costs around $2,000, but once again, Electric dominates when it comes to value. This is a great bike at a great price, so we're happy to recommend it if you're looking for a bike in the commuter category.
The AMPY for the Best Full Suspension Fat Tire e-bike for 2025 goes to the Mach-Wheel Obsidian.
The Obsidian is such a bad A-ride, man. The motor is so powerful, so it makes it feel like you can ride and you can rip around anywhere, but nobody wants to feel like they're about to be bucked off when riding off-road. We were equally impressed with both frames, but especially the step-through. Mach-Wheel somehow found a way to make a fat tire e-bike on a step-through frame that rides vertically plush, but also felt laterally stiff. It's like having your cake and eating it too. And on top of it all, it also can be turned into a roving power plant with Mach-Wheel's power inverter. There's just so much unique stuff going on, it's hard to not find it impressive. The AMPY for the Best Gravel e-bike of 2025 goes to the Ride One Up CF Racer 1.
Again, value is the biggest driving factor here. The fact that Ride One Up gives you an incredibly lightweight and natural feeling carbon fiber bike for well under $2,500 is absolutely insane. It had a great component package, including the SRAM Rival group set and Continental TerraTrail tires. We liked the bike's motor was helpful, but didn't overpower the ride. And it was nice to see 2 different frame sizes and different configurations between the road and gravel versions for different types of riders. Really though, you'd have to up your budget significantly to find a similar bike elsewhere, so it's a shoe-in for this award. If you've made it this far, we want to thank you very much for sticking around. Be sure to let us know down in the comments section what you thought about our picks for the best e-bikes of the year, as well as the new award show format here. Be sure to give us a like and subscribe if you're interested in any of our reviews.
Definitely follow along. We went through a lot of bikes today, but we're gonna get our hands on a lot more this year, so make sure to stay tuned for all that we got coming down the pipe.
I'm John.
And I'm Griffin.
And these were the best e-bikes of 2025.